Hi, I am Arul Jothi, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science, Fatima College. Today we are going to discuss a topic in computer graphics, that is about clipping. Clipping is nothing but viewing the object that is within the window boundary, that is visible within the window boundary, and rejecting the parts of the object that is outside the window boundary. Today we are going to discuss about what is clipping and what are the types of clipping available. So what is clipping? Clipping is a process of dividing an object into visible and invisible portions. That is, the portion within the window boundary is considered as visible, and with the portion that is outside the boundary is considered as invisible portion. So we have different types of clipping. One is point, line, area clipping, curve, text clipping. So these are the clippings available. Point clipping. Point clipping is nothing bound, nothing, a point that is within the window boundary is accepted if it is within the window boundary, and the point is rejected when it is outside the window boundary. Here the maximum and minimum window boundary limit is given, that is xw min refers to the window minimum boundary and the maximum boundary. If the point xy lies within this minimum and maximum value, then the point is accepted as visible portion. If it is not, then it is considered as invisible portion and it is rejected. So these are the ranges, the minimum and maximum boundary. If any one of this xy values limits the outside the window boundary, then it is clipped and rejected. So this is an example of a point within a window boundary. Here P is within the window boundary limit, that is minimum and maximum, so it is accepted as it is. If it is outside means, then it will be rejected. So next comes line clipping. In line clipping we have several lines inside and outside the window boundary. Here the square is the window boundary. Here, this is the minimum and maximum limit, and we have given 5 lines. Out of these lines, P1, P2 lies fully inside the boundary, so it is considered as visible and it is accepted as it is. And the next line, P3, P4 lies outside the boundary, so it is rejected since it is invisible. And the next line, P5, P6, P5 lies inside the boundary, whereas P6 lies outside the boundary. So we can't reject as it is. So we have to find the intersection point between this P5 and P6, P5 dash. We have to accept P5 and P5 dash. The remaining line will be rejected. And next comes P7, P8 line. Here both of the points are outside the boundary, but both are intersected within the boundary. So we have to find P7 dash and P8 dash, and this part only will be accepted. The remaining will be clipped. And P9, P10 is totally again outside, so we can reject this line. So this is an example of a line within the boundary, so we can accept it as it is fully within the boundary. And the second, CD, is partially inside and partially outside. So one end point of the line lies within the boundary, that is C, and D is outside the point. So we have to find the intersection point D dash, and we have to accept CD dash only. The third, both endpoints are located outside the clipping area. Here in this example, EF is totally outside the boundary and IJ is also totally outside the boundary. So we have to reject these two lines, this EF and IJ. Out of this remaining 3 lines, AB will be accepted as it is. And for CD, we have to find the intersection point. And next for GH, the fourth case, 2 points are outside the boundary. I have to find 2 intersection points. So both endpoints are located outside the clipping area. That is this GH and the line intersect the clipping area. The two intersection points of the line with the clipping or must be determined. And this is examples of line clipping again. Already we have discussed the line within the boundary and outside the boundary. Next, partially inside. One point lies inside and the other point lies outside. And next one is polygon clipping. So we have seen point clipping, then line clipping, and now we have going to see polygon clipping. So the simplest curve is a line segment or simply a line. Here a polygon is defined by the number of sides in the polygon. We can divide polygon into two classes. One is convex and another one is concave polygon. A convex polygon is a polygon such that for any 2 points inside the polygon, all the points of the line segment connecting them are also inside the polygon. A triangle is always a convex one. So next comes the concave polygon, is one which is not convex. Again, the polygon is said to be a concave if the line joining any two interior points of the polygon does not lie completely inside the polygon. So again we are going to discuss the 4 cases. The first vertex is outside the window boundary and second is inside, the first case. And if both are inside the window. And if the vertex is inside the window boundary and the second vertex is outside. And if both the input vertices are outside. So in all the types of polygons, we are going to see only those 4 cases. One is fully inside, another one is fully outside, and the third one is inside, another one is outside, and fourth one is totally 2 is outside, but it is some part of it is within the window boundary. So next comes the curve clipping. Curve clipping will invoke non-linear equations. So the boundary rectangle for a circle or other curved object can be used first to test for overlap with the rectangular boundary window. If the bounding rectangle for the object is completely inside the window, we save the object. If the rectangle is determined to be completely outside the window, we discard the object. Here in our case, this is our window boundary and we intersect with the circle. So the intersection point that which overlaps the window boundary is accepted after clipping and the remaining parts are discarded since it is considered as invisible. So next comes text clipping. Here 2 types of text clipping are there. First one is all or none string clipping. So in this clipping, if all the string is inside a clip window, we keep it as it is. Otherwise, the string is discarded. For example, here 2 strings are there, string 1 and string 2. String 2 is fully inside the window, but string 1 is partially inside. So we have to reject string 1 on the whole, since it is partially outside. So we have to accept the string if it is fully inside, otherwise we have to reject it. So another here some of the characters are inside the clip window, that also is rejected. That is not in the case. Second case is all or none character clipping. Here we consider the characters also. For example, in string 1, str is outside the window and ing1 is inside the window. So we have to accept this ing1. So this is the case with all or none character clipping. Here we discard only those characters that are not complete inside the window. So next is exterior clipping. So it is a different concept. Usually in normal clipping we accept the object that is within the boundary and we reject which is outside the boundary. Here we accept the points that is outside the boundary and reject which is inside the boundary. So this is the different concept. Here is an example and this is the window boundary and this is our object. So the portion outside the boundary is accepted here and within the boundary is rejected. So this is the case with exterior clipping and these are the applications of clipping area. Multiple window systems, the design of page layouts in advertising or publishing, and adding labels or design patterns to a picture. So we have several applications also there. So thank you girls. Thank you.